Are we getting it? I want to see if we are getting it. See to check if I'm actually live. And there we are. There we are. Okay. This is a recap of, I guess, the last 2 weeks. Because I skipped last week because we were on holiday in Auckland. I recently moved down to New Plymouth in New Zealand, and so recently because my sister came from London, we went to Auckland for a holiday to see them there before they left again. And honestly, apart from seeing them, I realized how much I don't like Auckland. I guess the only thing I like about Auckland is the people, but being in New Plymouth in a slightly small, not slightly, in a much smaller city where there's enough to get me by. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything in terms of a urban environment, but I feel like I have everything in terms of, I guess, an environment within nature, because the sea is 3 minutes away from me. Massive hikes are less than 15 minutes away. And compared to when I was in Auckland, it would take me so much more longer. And now every time I finish working on Life Game Design, the app, I will go and just walk by the waterfront. And there's so many different places to be by the waterfront because we're just along such a long coast. And I didn't realize how much I was missing before I moved down here. But coming back up to Auckland really made that apparent for me. So while I'm sad that I don't have the, I guess, same opportunity to network and get people on the podcast as easily now, there are times where I can get a flight ticket up to Auckland if I need to, if I want to connect with someone, if I want to do that. But honestly, for this phase, while I'm building Life Game Design up, when it's literally just me and the very few people who are open to testing and supporting me on the journey of the growth, this is probably exactly what I need. Anyway, let's get into the weekly reflection. So every week I reflect on the week using the octa-core framework or the special framework. Same thing, I just don't want to get roasted by Todd Howard. Fallout fans will know. Anyways, special is the areas of life that I use to database everything in my life, but it's also the different areas that we need to manage to really get fulfillment out of it in the first place. It's insane. It's always hard for me to explain because I literally use it for everything. This color coding system, you can use it for your calendar, for your tasks, and I use it for, like I said, everything. I use it to categorize the different notes I take, and it ultimately helps me navigate and understand the trade-offs between what I choose to do day to day in life. And so, yeah, I want to go through what I did in the last 2 weeks because I missed last week's reflection, and just see where I've come so far. Let's see. Really, I do this to see if my intention is aligned with what I actually did. And so I pretty much have my project manager here, which I naturally use to put in all the stuff that I'm doing throughout the week. And then because it's done in Notion, because of its database system, I can pull everything that I did that I just naturally put in, and it comes up to help me reflect in a more, I guess, in a more natural way, instead of just trying to jot it down in a boring like PDF manner, which I hate. I hate the fact that, let's say you had a project manager or a task manager or both and a bunch of notes, and what you did is that you took everything from I guess you had to open like 3 different apps, and then you have to open a PDF to do your reflection. And that's just stupid. That's just stupid. Let's live in the 21st century, man. Come on. Anyways, let's get into it. This is chronological, starting from the earliest event, and yeah, the biggest thing that happened. I can't even remember. This must have been, yeah, I think I got this done just before the holiday. But yeah, I finally finished what you would call the lead magnet. I read Alex Hormozy's series, $100 million offers and $100 million leads, and basically, if you want to build a business, first you have to offer better than anyone else in your competition, and you do that by offering premium products. And then from there, he explains in leads that you have to offer the best free product that you can possibly create to get leads for the premium version of your product. And that's what I created, basically. I took the best features from my full app of Life Game Design and Notion and put them into a free version for anyone to use who would be keen to understand, organize, and optimize every area of their life, and also have a system to organize their whole life in one app instead of having 5 different apps for their memories, for their projects, for their tasks, for their notes, and so much more. So yeah, it took me about a week to get that done, because before then I was just offering people the full version, and I noticed that people who checked out the full version were actually a bit overwhelmed with how much there was in it. So I wanted to create a version where I just stripped it down to the bare basics of the most valuable parts of what I think are in the system, basically. And honestly, it's a special system in itself, because if I didn't have to make this, if someone had made this already, this wouldn't be the thing I would be doing. I'd be probably doing a YouTube channel on video editing or something, because I really like that. But yeah, a lot of Notion creators offered a system to organize every area in your life. Well, a system to organize all the projects, tasks, framework to understand all the different areas of life. And the way I think about it is that, imagine if I gave you the best ingredients in the world and expected you to make an amazing dish with it without giving you the recipe. You wouldn't know what the fuck to do. And I've seen it with my experience as a chef firsthand. You give people the best opportunities, the best ingredients, but if they don't have a framework to either work or to create, they can't do anything. They can't do anything really of value. So yeah, getting that lead magnet was done, and I actually gave it to my friend who I've been wanting to share with this for so long, Kendra, and that was sick. She really liked the whole thing, and I wanted to offer her the full version, but for her it was like just exactly what she needed, just the right amount of complexity that she needed. God, I want to sneeze. Okay. The next thing is, oh my god, this video, man. This video. I got this video out. I did it in my last weekly reflection, so it's not that big. So maybe this is actually going a bit far back, but this is where it gets into the new stuff. Anyways, I spent 3 months on this video. It didn't even do that well. I spent 3 months on this video. It was my best editing yet. Didn't do that well, but honestly, like, while I'm building out the full version of this app, even if it did went well and I did get a bunch of leads from it, I wouldn't have the time to spend with all the people that would hit me up from enjoying it or whatever. So actually, maybe it was a good thing. Maybe it was a good thing in hindsight, but I could not see that at the moment. I was upset, man. I was upset. Anyways, the next thing I did was the last blogcast. So I tried out a series of blogcasts where it's like, okay, I write a blog and then I live stream like this and kind of read the blog and do a podcast of just my thoughts based on the writing. And it wasn't really a good idea, but I knew that I guess the 80-20 of it was just getting my thoughts down in terms of creating the blog, but the principle of essentialism keeps it's this recurring theme. The principle of essentialism in the fact that if I try to do everything at once, I will fail at everything at once. And that's exactly what happened. I've been spreading myself too thin in terms of the output that I'm trying to get, because I'm trying to compare what I should be outputting to people who have teams doing their content and things like that. I'm like, oh, I need to write a blog, I need to write a newsletter, I need to create content on TikTok, on Instagram, and blah blah blah. Like, actually, I just need to focus on one thing. And that's what I learned from the experience of going about doing the blogcast again, is that most of the value, honestly, it's not even about putting stuff out there. It's more about what I need to do and what I enjoy putting out, because that is the thing that's going to sustain me. And that has been these podcasts over here. So, I did a bunch of podcasts with my friends, and they are end of year reflections, basically. I helped them reflect on their year in 2023. And while doing that, it just teaches me so much about them, because whenever I tell them, hey, we're going to go over all of your achievements in 2023, they would tell me a list of less than 10 things. And then I think to myself, there is no fucking way that you've only done 10 things this year. It's because they frame achievement in the mindset of corporate business productivity, where it's more like a game. That's what this is all about, life game design. Because our lives are not a business. Our lives are so much more like a game. So it doesn't mean we have to do cringe bullshit like have XP leveling algorithms and skill trees. It means that we need to design our lives like a game, meaning that we need to find what is fulfilling to us. And the only way we can do that is by reviewing what we've done and figuring out what have been the most fulfilling memories for you, whether it be reading a book that has been so impactful to you, whether it be one of my friends, Tristan, I'll scroll down to it here. God, where was it? It must have been ages after. One of the most impactful things for him that spread out to every other area of life was going to the beach. Literally. He tried meditation before. He couldn't really get the hang of it. But for him, going to the beach was his place of peace. And I think if he were to follow all the people who talk about self-improvement in the traditional sense, instead of just looking at his own experience, he would have thought that, no, going to the beach is the wrong thing. I need to just sit down and meditate, and that's it. And that lesson taught me that the trap of consuming content and the trap of listening to people who aren't you is so easy to fall into, because sure, there are people that we admire and that we would like to replicate their success, so we end up doing the same thing that they've done. But really, we have to look at ourselves, because doing this, I can really easily see very intuitively what I've liked to do, what actually fulfills me in terms of all these things that I've done. So, yeah, what was the next thing? Eden's podcast. So in Auckland, I had 3. I believe it was Eden, Tristan, and Chris, and they were all fucking sick. I had so much fun with them. And honestly, I can't wait to do more. I cannot wait to do more, especially with people that I know nothing about. I would just like to see what their lives look like mapped out on this board throughout all these different areas of life. And yeah, it's a 5-hour drive to Auckland. So one thing that I know I won't have as much time for this year, because last year I read about probably more than 70 books because of my job. I could listen to audiobooks all day. Um, Now I'm kind of sad that I can't read as much, but on the drive there, I listened to The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter, and it wasn't so much the story because I'd seen him in the podcast, and I just liked the idea. The Comfort Crisis. I guess it was a hard book for me because as a vegan, the story is about hunting caribou, which are, I believe, like a type of moose. And I guess I just got pissed off with the fact that he's romanticizing the fact that he's connecting with nature, even though there's nothing necessary about going out to kill an animal when he's got fucking supermarkets and shit. Anyways, um, the main message in the book taught me that the comfort that I've been looking for in things like my bed and things like getting a better chair to sit on and all like that. It's hard, but it probably makes me a lot less happy. And I've noticed just in probably the biggest thing that I actually action from the book is stopping resting my lower back. Because every time I sit in the car, every time I sit down and stuff like that, I would just rest my lower back and I would get back pain or I would feel weak in my lumbar. And it's literally because of the comfort. It's literally because I've been drawn to want to relax instead of be more active. And so, yeah, I really like what the message in the book taught me, because honestly, from just the title, you can get 99% of the idea of what it's about. We're too comfortable and it's not helping us at all. And so that's been plaguing my mind, especially because my friend Derek gave me this hat which says "Seek Discomfort" from Yes Theory. And every time I do seek discomfort, I feel so much fucking better. Anyways, moving on. Going on to experience. There's going to be a lot of stuff in here. And basically, I use this table to figure out, where my attention has been. I guess I can do the same thing within a view that I've got over here, but I have to move it. That's all right. I'll show you later. Anyways, I've got the family holiday in Auckland that we did. That's all pretty much within the same scope of things, but some mad highlights from that was going to Kite Kite Falls. Kite Kite Falls is a beautiful waterfall out in Piha, and I used to go there when I was living in Auckland, out in the Waitakaris. Even though it would take me about 40 minutes, I would go there every single weekend, and hike up and swim in the water during summer, and I loved it so much. And yeah, that was the first time I'd been there in like literally a year, because they closed it because of the Kauri dieback, they closed it because of the cyclone that happened, and a whole bunch of stuff. And I've just been waiting to go to it for so long, and I finally got there, and it was just insane. I enjoyed it so much. And we watched some movies as a family as well. There was some pretty good stuff. Freaks is one. It's on Netflix. It was a pretty interesting concept, of I guess humanity being split into people who have certain powers, and when they use those powers, they bleed from their eyes for some reason, and basically they get discriminated against and basically hunted down. So all of these people who have these kind of powers have to pretend like they're normal, and the ones who aren't are called freaks. And yeah, it's just a really interesting story, because the main character, the girl, grows up in complete isolation and is basically taught to say certain things that would lead her not to, I guess, suspect or draw suspicion to herself that she would have any powers like that, even though her parents did not know what her ability was until about the end of the movie. Then we went for a surf at Piha, and yeah, it was good for me. My dad is a big surfer. I'm just kind of getting back into it. And my brother-in-law Fola, he's like completely green to it, and taking him to Piha is a bit rough because the waves at Piha are pretty mad to learn on. And so I ended up being the one who had like the best time out of all of them in that. So I was like, oh, I really wanted Fola to have a better time, but yeah, just trying to get into surfing in one lesson is it's a bit hard. It's a bit hard, but it's alright. But then after, I believe like right after that day, we did bouldering together, and that was insane because I went with Fola and my friend Lachlan, and we're all at, I guess, like a similar skill level to each other, but we're all like beginners at bouldering. We don't know jack shit, and we were starting out with the easiest rankings. It's like a ranking system. It's like a V, and then you have numbers next to it. So there's like V0, V1, V2, etc., and it goes all the way up to like 9. And honestly, the grading is pretty insane because going from V0 to V1 feels like how do I gauge this difficulty? Okay, it feels like it feels like fighting a boss in Skyrim and then fighting a boss in Dark Souls or Elden Ring. It's insane. It's such an insane jump. And each increment is like that. So we only got up, the highest thing was like V3, and it goes up to like V9 or even above that. I can't even remember. But we challenged ourselves. We challenged ourselves really well, and damn, my fingers were hurting so much. Like at the time, but I didn't actually feel that sore after the day. It was just during that, and the forearm and all that shit. Oh my god! But it was really fun. I would actually love to do that again. It's such a cool and interesting challenge to try and just to try and move and coordinate every part of your body and balance and all that kind of stuff. It was actually really interesting. If I had one over here, it might be a hobby that I'd be keen to pick up again later on in life or something like that. What happened next? After that, we had a boys' day out. Oh my god! At the Airbnb that we were staying at, the person had the large book volume of Avatar: The Last Ember, the comic books that happens. It's the comics that happen after the original show. So everything that happened after Aang defeated Fire Lord Ozai, and it's about the Promise. The Promise is the first series in them where basically Zuko makes Aang promise him that he will kill him if he ends up being like his father. And the story is about that, and it was absolutely amazing. I knew these comics existed for so long, but I never actually took the time to look at it because I think they're available online, but I wanted to have the actual book, and it is so good. It is so good. I can't wait to read the rest of the series, so I gotta go to the library and pick that up actually. So I might do that this week. Maybe that's something I should do this week. Because with this build, everything I'm putting all my time into it, and the only time I get to relax is basically 2 hours before I go to bed. And every hour before that, I go to the gym, I come straight home, I work on the app. And then I've got 2 hours to kind of cool down, and explain why I need to do that a bit later, because I tried staying up in the middle of the week, and just because I was like so hyped, I was like, I can spend more time on this, I can just do it until I have to go to bed, but it didn't work out. 1987. Wow. My parents put on a throwback called The Princess Bride. It was actually a really good movie. I can't believe I enjoyed it so much, even though like I guess I have a bias to. I had a bias that like, oh, it's such an old movie. Why the hell would I want to watch this? But it was. I think it's again so weird because like I was laughing the most out of everyone, like when the film was on. Like I enjoyed it the most out of anyone, and I didn't even pick it or anything, which is pretty crack up. And then we watched a really interesting movie called Hunger, and it's about a professional chef who recruits a street walk chef, and her basically challenging the empire that he created. Um, and it's mad. The whole movie is in Thai, and it is so good because of it. I made a point like don't watch the dub because it's gonna be terrible. But yeah, hearing the Thai version and like all the drama within it, oh my god, it's good. And the guy who plays the chef, holy shit, he reminded me of a chef that I worked with in the kitchens when I was working at Sky City. And fuck man, it was it just brought up a whole bunch of I guess emotions and memories and stuff like that. It was really sick. And I put Tristan in there for the podcast already. Honestly, both of these, every podcast I did was so much fun. So much fun, honestly. Because especially Tristan and Chris, for Eden's podcast, I've brought him on like 3 times already just because we vibe so much. But with Tristan and Chris, these are guys who knew nothing about the special framework, the octa-core framework. And they previously knew nothing about how this all works. And then I got them to I got them to give me a list of their achievements, and they put it in. And yeah, once they did that, they were like, holy crap, this is how much I've actually done in the year, when they gave me like a list of 10 things and we expanded it to like 50 something. And we were talking about all these like shows they watched. We were talking about, realizations they had. We were talking about books they read and all these different things that you would never really get from your friends usually if you weren't asking them these kind of questions. So honestly, the whole of Auckland podcast was such a vibe, such a vibe. Then we had lunch at a restaurant called Melba, pretty sick. And that was it. We said bye to my sister. So it'll probably be a year until we see her and my brother-in-law again. So until then, we'll be doing calls in that. But yeah, after that, first thing we needed was a new fridge because our fridge stopped working. And that was a bit of a struggle, I'm not gonna lie. So persistence, this is a area of life that people just don't fucking understand. People usually put everything into a folder called personal, and that will include their leisure time. It will include their life maintenance and stuff like that. It will include a whole bunch of, honestly, personal for a folder and the word of categorization is just fucking stupid. Persistence is about the life routines you have. It's about the possessions that you get, and it's about just general life admin. And that needs its own life bucket because you want to keep that stuff separate from the things that you do to enjoy life, right? And you don't want to see that stuff side by side. So that's what persistence is all about. And especially a key factor within it is lifestyle design and environment design. So even me, like, honestly, if you don't write this stuff down or if you don't catalog it, you don't appreciate it. So for me, like, getting this new fridge is a big thing. And yeah, in terms of work on the app, after we got back, I had to help with this a lot. So it took away from quite a lot of progress. But this is where I get into, I'm just going to cut it off there. This is where I get into this week, because this is the week that we're back. And yeah, so we did the short-term views. So basically, I'll show you what it looks like. This is my version of life game design. And I'm basically like bringing this, like launching this, so other people can use what I use to manage my life. And the short-term views, if this loads, fuck it. The short-term views are a bunch of views that are like the tick-tick project manager, basically. Tick-tick task manager. And so it shows you things you have today, yesterday, tomorrow, this week, da-da-da-da-da. And it shows you that in terms of all your projects, tasks, and notes. So your list of stuff you do today, you can see the tasks you have today, you can see the projects that you have around this week, and you can see all the notes that you may have created today as well. Is it still loaded? Nah, that is not going to happen. Okay, we'll ignore that. So basically it took me a hell of a long time to just put in all of those pages, get the layout nice, do all the testing for it. And yeah, but I'm really glad that this is a week that I really cut off a lot of just like random bullshit that I was doing in the morning, like having a morning routine, and I like it, but it's difficult. Spending too much time in the gym. I love spending like at least an hour and a half in the gym, just like doing more volume, but this is a time where I need more time to put into this. And even though I've quit my job, I'm like, how come I still don't have enough time? And it's because I've been putting way too much time into strength in general, into like training and stuff. While I love it, with the progress that I want to make, I can't keep doing that, I figured. So yeah, it's been difficult, but I've had to cut that off. And yeah, in terms of doing that, especially again because of my shoulder injury, which I feel like has gone down quite a bit. I had acupuncture for the first time because I've had a massive knot in my trap for quite a while, and honestly, I didn't feel like it made much difference at the start, but now it's actually gone down quite a bit, and I don't know if that's from me backing off from training or the acupuncture, who knows. But I'll be going again next Thursday anyway to check up with my physio on that. Why did I put that here? Then I had a call with my friend Lachlan. That was nice. It's nice to catch up with your friends and stuff like that. And then what happened? I made some mean food for meal prep. And that's going to last me until tomorrow, and I have to do some more meal prep then. So I made like, chickpea curry with like tofu. God, what was it? It's like a, tofu green curry. Goddamn good shit. And then I released the first episode of the video of the End of Year podcast, which was with my friend Derek. And I loved it. I loved it so much. I love the conversation we had, and I'm so glad that I finally got to release it. That was sick. What else? And I did a quick video on Stephen Bartlett coming to Auckland. Basically, when he comes to Auckland for his talk, I want to connect with the people who are into the Diary of a CEO, and basically, I'm going to do interviews with people using the conversation cards that he released. And the conversation cards are a deck of cards that just ask very deep, meaningful questions. And it's going to be really fun, kind of like street interviewing people. I've always wanted to kind of do that, and I think especially with Derek, because he's like super charismatic and just has like a really good energy. I'm going to get him to do it, and I'm just going to do most of the recording, and we might swap from time to time. But yeah, it'll be hella fun doing that, and who knows, might get his attention. But yeah, honestly, in the best case scenario of the event is that I find someone to get on my podcast, or I find someone who wants to use the Life Game Design app, or I just make a new friend. That would be really cool. The talk is, it feels so bad because I'm such a big fan of DOAC, but the talk is secondary. It's more about the experience. It'll be the experience and the people who go there. Anyways, yeah, this is probably like the most amount of work that I've done on LGD this whole year. So big milestone for me. And yeah, I just mowed the lawn today. I put in these stuff because it's hard to acknowledge how much of an impact these things have on both your time and both on, I guess, the state of your environment and how it makes you feel, basically. Because it took me about like an hour and a half to mow the lawn. And that means if I were to separate tracking that project into a different thing, that means I would mistake myself into thinking that I have much more time than I actually do. Because before I started listing out everything that I'm doing over here, I felt like I could do so much work on the app until I realized, like, oh, I have to do meal prep. Oh, I have to help my parents with this thing. Oh, I have to mow the lawn. Oh, I have this social obligation. All these kind of things. And I would use, like, again, 5 different apps to track these things and not realize and not be able to see them all in one and just be like, okay, this is my whole life for this week. This means that for this week, I'm going to have to focus a bit less on creativity because I have to do something in terms of persistence or strength or whatever. It's about understanding the trade-offs between all these different areas of life, basically. And yeah, actually, something I'm going to do right after this-ish is do a hour meditation. I haven't done it yet, so it's not on the achieved page. But yeah, that's something I intend to do straight after this because I've been staying up a bit late, and we'll get into it with the questions that we have here in terms of the reflection. But honestly, like, just going through all of the stuff is more than enough of a reflection for me. But I just like to do these questions, I guess, just to highlight some of the difficulties, because all of this stuff is about celebrating the wins, but I also want to acknowledge the things that I struggled with, or just like general vices and stuff. So what lessons did I learn from things that didn't go quite right? And that's why I have this on, so I can voice type this and not have to type it out awkwardly on stream. So let's see if this works. Here we go. You can see it's typing now. Okay, a lesson that I learned from this week because of something that didn't go quite right was the fact that I tried to put in even more time on this. Like, literally yesterday, I was doing deep work with my friend Joseph overseas on a Discord call, and I went until about 9 p.m. I usually sleep around 10, and I actually told myself that I should have just left it to like 8 p.m. I need to stop my screen time at least 2 hours. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Mr. Huberman told me. 2 hours before I go to bed, at least. Stop getting blue light. But I pushed it because I was so hyped. Like, I was making heaps of progress, but that cost me. It cost me a lot. It cost me in my sleep, my focus, and I feel like I've lost 4 hours just because I wanted to have 1 extra hour. So yeah, I have to understand the trade-off and force myself. I have to force myself to stop working if I want to get more done. It sounds stupid, but that's how it is. But I want to do this one. How well do I stick to my plan and stay focused? Very fucking well. Like, this week probably has been the most productive week, and it shows me, like, God, how much time and effort I'm putting into this, but I'm so proud of it at the same time. And honestly, I can't wait for more people to find out about this thing, because it's only me at the moment, and the small team that I've got together, that have been interested in using life game design. But man, it's gonna be so much fun when this philosophy gets out there, when people start thinking about designing their lives like a game instead of like a corporate business. It's gonna be good. But anyway, yeah, stuck to the plan really well. Focus was good until I pushed it too much, so I think that's a lesson. And then yeah, what's the next one? What inspired me this week? Actually, just like going nature. Nature inspired me. Going to Kitekite Falls for the first time in forever, just experiencing that whole thing. It was just really nice. It was such a good experience to kind of revisit a place that I know like the back of my hand, and almost experience it for the first time, and go there with my brother-in-law, who's first time seeing it as well. He was really into it. And yeah, that was on the same day that we did the surf. That was crazy. But in terms of content that inspired me, can't really on it. Not Alex Hormozy. Alex Hormozy with Modern Wisdom. Again, they're like 3 hour, they're 3 hour episodes. It was hilarious. It's just nice to hear them talking. I like the ideas they share. So that was probably it. I should probably put that in my projects actually. I'm gonna do that after this real quick. So yeah, Kite Kite and Modern Wisdom. What is the number one thing I need to accomplish next week? The number one thing is going to be so I've got the utility views and the short-term views are done, utility views and the hub views. Basically, what I'm saying is a whole bunch of different, these over here. So I've got the short-term views here, I've got the utility, the hub views, and then the week after I'll be focusing on the year and season. But you can see all the different pages that are within this. It just takes a long time. Let me extend this so this looks nicer. Yeah. It takes a long time to build out all of these pages. So I think, yeah, one page can take me between 2 to 4 hours because I make the page, I make all the different pages within the page, and I optimize it for mobile. It's a lot. But yeah, honestly, I've never been more hyped to do work on this, really. I've never been more hyped. And so what specific learning do I need to do for next week tasks? Nothing. This was more of a question that I utilized when I didn't know what I had to do, or I didn't know the path I was going on. But now it's like, I know exactly what I need to do, and I just need to do it. But this question used to be really helpful for me because it was me figuring out how I'm going to make life game design, all the different areas of special and all that kind of stuff before I knew that stuff. But now I know, I just need to do. What are the tasks that I can do that will make next week less stressful? Meal prep, like do some solid meal prep, plan it out. Honestly, every time when it comes to this question, it's just planning. So that is definitely something that I will be doing. What is on my not to-do list? On my not to-do list is work after 8 p.m. And it's already 8, so I'm kind of cheating. 15 minutes. But this is near the end. This is finishing up. Let's wrap this up. What am I looking forward to next week? Getting my work done. On the hub and utility views. What am I grateful for? Let me speak this out. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for, especially the interactions I had this week with Lachlan and Derek and Joseph. Just keeping in touch with them and sharing problems that we all have, and just being kind of like stuck in the mud together, and working towards all our goals together, seeing all of us make the progress on the things that we're intending to go towards. While they are all separate paths, I feel like we're all just trying to be better in general, and it's nice not to be alone in that journey, I guess. So yeah, my friends. I'm really grateful for my friends. And there is so much more, but I will wrap it up there. Damn, what a mad 2 weeks, and what a mad January in general. Because we're now in February, and this month is going to be huge as well. Huge in terms of more like work output that I have to do, because, oh man, there's a lot, but I'm excited for it. So let's fucking go. Thank you so much for joining me.